Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're calling in from. This is Ashley Tusignot. I'm Senior Product Manager for Secure 9000. I'm here today with Greg Hollenbach. He's Senior Product Manager for our hardware portfolio. We are going to be taking you through Secure 9000, our latest feature pack. You can find it today on the software download section under SP2. But we wanted to put together this webinar just to kind of take you through all the new features because we've added quite a bit. Quick housekeeping before we jump in. This session is recorded, so you can view it if you have to jump off at any time. We also have a second session that's going to happen next week. If you do have questions, please enter them into the question box, and Greg is going to help facilitate those questions as we go. So today we are going to do a quick recap of Secure 9000 290, which came out last August. And then we're going to cover all of the service packs that had features added in the last 8 months. Then we're going to go through everything new for 290 Service Pack 2. And then I'm going to take you through a live demo of our web-based client because quite a bit of functionality added to that Secure 9000 client. And then we'll take time for some questions. Okay, so here is the quick overview of 290. We had quite a bit added in there. We really built out our access-led unification story. So what we had here was we built out our framework in 280, which was August the previous year. We had our smart layouts added that included security view and our assess event application layout, allowing you to have that automatic device to video mapping within our admin client. We added new dashboards, and then we also had the central clip storage with our video clips, so extending beyond the NVR storage. And all of that functionality was added this past summer. And then on the web-based client side, which we're going to be diving into later, we had the whole personnel admin functionality included, so your day-to-day personnel admin use case. Everything from badging to web views, personnel views, assigning clearances, can all be done with that new web-based client. On the Secure ID side, we did add a new Fargo printer. That's the HDP 6600. That is one of the leading badging printers available today through HID. So that functionality was included along with some QR code and GS1 barcode support within that badging designer. And then on the cyber side, we had the introduction to our new iStar Edge G2, which hopefully you all are familiar with. That's one of Greg's latest and greatest introductions to the portfolio. So with that, let's jump over to some of the service packs that we were able to provide some new functionality for. So all of these are released. You can find them through the various versions on our software downloads page. One thing I want to note here is that there is some redundancy of the features based on a couple different options. So you'll have, you'll see the OSDP reader conversion tool has been included in several of the service packs, along with the Pro to Ultra conversion utility and the temporary clearance filter. So our OSDP conversion is for weekend and RM readers. So now you can convert your RM or Direct Connect weekend readers to the OSDP protocol with the iStar Ultra controllers, so right within Secure. And then the Pro to Ultra SE conversion utility allows you to have that seamless upgrade as well. So just trying to have easy tools and functionality to help your projects progress and add the latest technology there. And then we're going to jump into the next slide for the temporary clearance filter to try to just cover what that is. So we did have a whole session. Rick Foki, our director, ran a couple sessions, and there is a recording of that where we kind of took you through the tools and functionality available today within Secure for, I don't know if we want to call them COVID tools or something with this pandemic that will help your organizations reopen. So one of those features that were included is the temporary clearance filter. So this is available in 270 Service Pack 7, 280 Service Pack 5, and now also in 290 Service Pack 2. So basically, as your facilities are reopening, you can have a health screening area determined, and it could be one or multiple across a campus, where your employees would have to go through a health checkpoint. So it could be a temperature control or a quick survey that they need to fill out, dependent on how their health is for that day. And then they badge into a designated reader at that area, and then their clearance levels will be updated so that they can have normal free flow through the buildings and doors that they typically have access to. So the beauty behind this is it is using your clearance filters, so you will be able to have it either reset by them exiting through an exit reader that's going to have them have to go through that health checkpoint again, or they can simply have it turn off at a certain time instance, so 12 hours, 24 hours the next day that employee would have to go through that health screening area again. So it's quite flexible in how it can be used, and definitely a great opportunity for your facilities that are reopening. Okay, so here's a look at our feature pack. So the largest aspect of new features are added to our web-based client, so what we're calling phase 2. So down here at the bottom, you can kind of see a quick roadmap of what we've done. So last August was phase 1. That's your security office, your personnel admin side. Now we're introducing the monitoring. So your events, your alarms coming into the system, intrusion zones, and manual actions are available today. And we're going to take you through those in just a moment. And then our phase 3 is going to be heavily related around our video introduction into that web-based client. So plenty more to come. We have quite an active roadmap for this. We just covered the temporary clearance filter, but we also have some video enhancements that I'm going to be covering on the next slide, and a couple of hardware related ones as well, our custom input calibration, and there's now support for 4 ACMs per GCM on the iStar Ultra. The last one I wanted to know is a usability update for what we're calling our operator CSV file export. So this is an export button now located on the operator window where you can easily export a CSV file containing the list of your online operators. So if your customer has a facility that has a lot of logged in users and they want to be mindful of how many concurrent users are currently logged in, there's now this opportunity to download that report. Okay, so let's take a look at some of our video enhancements that we included. So we have a clip linkage to event for video search. So back in 2.90, the reference was from the video camera only. So now in Service Pack 2, we've expanded that functionality. So now you can actually reference an event, or it can also retain reference from an object associated, something like a door. We've also expanded upon the built-in video analytics. So in 2.90, we had functionality, the analytics built in for both Video Edge and Exact NVRs. And these have expanded to now include that draw search region for Video Edge and motion detection, which has been heavily requested from the Exact side. So both of those are introduced now. You can see in the screenshot below here that this is the mapped out area that you're pinpointing the flow of who's coming and going out this door. So there's the mapped region that has been dedicated here. We also have camera firmware version built into the UI. So that is out of the box for Video Edge and Exact cameras. And it can also show your individual IP address if that's applicable for the cameras being looked at. This is also available in the SDK, so any of our third-party partners who are updating to 2.90 functionality can build in their video analytics and also utilize this firmware update as well. And then there's 2 additional video layouts. So one of them is depicted here on the right-hand side. These are the layouts, the little icons that you can see up here at the top. We added a new one that's a 2x10 and a 2x4. Just to give some additional video views for your customers. Okay, and so let's just cover the hardware usability updates as well. So This is Greg's side of the wheelhouse here, but our iStar Ultra, you can now support 4 ACMs per GCM. So the great selling point here is that now you can have 32 hardwired readers. So previously you could have 16 hardwired, and then the rest would either have to be IP ACMs or wireless to make up that total of 32. Now you can have up to 32 hardwired. So it can be a mix, or it can be, you know, all hardwired, all wireless. Your max is still at 32 for that. This also is doubling your I/O for additional door configurations. So another great add-on there. And Greg, you are working on a new enclosure for that, correct? There's going to be some new parts added.
Yeah, it's been something that has been discussed as whether we supply a can that has just 2 ACMs, and then we would also supply some very long USBs to be able to communicate back to the GCM. So there has been discussion about putting into the parts list, on the list of things to do.
Sounds great. Well, at least the usability is there. The second one is the custom input calibration. So this is so that the system can automatically determine the input resistance for your supervised circuit, and then configure the door appropriately. So it's definitely great for your field technicians. They can perform and calibrate and uncalibrate commands will physically at the door input point. So also, if anything changes in the future, you can just recalibrate the input point and it's going to overwrite with the new configuration. So pretty easy flexibility. That was something that was available in our legacy P2000 that we're converting over to Secure. Okay, and just to jump into the roadmap, just take a quicker look at that. So again, the personnel administration side was all added into 290, which came out last August. Today we are at our feature pack, or phase 2, which is service pack 2 that you can download today in software downloads, and that's bringing in the alarm monitoring side, intrusion zones, manual actions. For 3.0, which we are targeting for Q1 of 2022, that is going to be heavily focused on the video side. So your security ops center, you know, swipe and show and things like that. And again, this is roadmap items, so any of these listed items are subject to change as the team dives in and builds this out. And then what we're seeing is phase 4 and beyond is the one-time configurations versus the day-to-day use. So things like configuring your controllers, your doors, your areas and zones and things like that. And that will be what we're calling today is 3.1. Okay, so let's take a look at the new web. Let's dive in here. Okay, so if you have 290 currently and you've played around with the personnel admin side, this is a new screen for you. We didn't have this screen before because it just went directly into personnel administration. So now you have this home page, this welcome page, because we're building out the functionality of this web client. So I'm going to just take you into the personnel admin side just real quick, just to show you how the functionality works from within there. Okay, so hopefully this is familiar to you. Just some of the updates here. Now that we have that home screen, you can also toggle between your alarm monitoring and personnel admin side from this little caret up here at the top. So let's dive in. So one of the things that I think has been most requested and pretty exciting here is that now you can toggle between light and dark mode just from a quick click of a button. So this can be based on user preference. Also, you know, for our users that are in a darker room for monitoring, this is more convenient for them. But again, any screen I go to, I can decide if I prefer the light or dark mode theme, and I can toggle back and forth between that. So let's get over to the alarm monitoring side. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to point out is here are your events coming in. We've added a couple different views here. And really this is just for our different type of, people process data in different ways. So the first thing I want to know is this is your standard list view. It could be either all, or you can have your stacked where it's showing your pending acknowledgement or pending clear. We have a couple new icons. We have, they range from red, yellow, and blue. So your active acknowledged or your requires clear. As you can see over anything that I'm holding my mouse over, there is that little grayed out text that comes up, just helpful tips to make it easy for new users to find the information that they are. Another thing I wanted to note is any of the columns can be resized. You can also switch around the layout, and it's easy to change your priority list. So you can ascend and descend the order of your priority alarms coming in. So here are some of the red requires acknowledge options to see that third icon type. Any of these can be clicked on and it's going to pull up this right-hand side panel that's going to provide all of the details to that event that came in. So here was a door held alarm. We're calling this a priority 200. So as you notice, our priorities scale based on color. So the higher priority items are going to be the reds and the oranges. And then as we get to mid-tier, you cascade down to yellow, and then the lower end is your green alarms down at the bottom here. So everything in this side panel is open, so I can click in my active causes, my armed causes, and any logged messages or information in there I can view. And then from here, I can acknowledge and clear that alarm. There's also a new card type. So this information I filtered in, but I can easily bucket my different priority alarms, and I can see, okay, I have 3 critical alarms here. And if I type this, if I click on this little right-hand corner button, I can see those individual alarms. And again, I can pull them open just like I could from that standard list view. So just a different way to process the data. Again, this was simulated, so I pulled in a lot of the information, but if this was a living, breathing system, you're going to have different details bucketed, from past day, past week, that you can use that data in different ways. So again, everybody has a different way of kind of filtering through that data, and that's just a new way to look at it. The newest is what we're calling the bubble view. And again, I have 49 events that have filtered through here, and each one, as you can see as I'm scrolling over, is an individual event. And if I click on any of these, again, I can pull up the details on that and decide if I want to, acknowledge and clear that particular alarm. I can also filter out based on the priority. So just, it's a quick way to visualize how the system, the priority levels of the different alarms that are coming into your system. So I can see, again, 6 in the very low, and then as we filter up, majority of them are falling into our medium tier bucket, and then we do have some critical that need to be addressed. And our team has scaled this up. So I have 49 available that you can see today, but we've had, over 1,000 filtered through in there. So you can kind of just see as they scale. So the bubble size will increase in color and size as the priority level increases as well. And then I'm going to jump over here to the manual actions. And again, this is a lot of the data that I pulled in earlier for the simulation. But again, you can see the different priority list. I can change the layout of this based on preference, and it's going to change the look and feel. And then there's additional items that I can add or remove from this view type just to make it, personalized to that user. And then I'm going to jump over and just show you the intrusion zones as well. So these were added as well. And I can arm or disarm these different intrusion zones that have been built. And again, I can also, I can add different items to this menu if I want to include additional data here. So a lot of usability options. Again, that same search bar and filtering bar that were introduced in the personnel admin page have filtered through to this section as well. So great usability. I'm excited for you guys to use this. Now for your day-to-day user, you have quite a bit of tools available in this new web-based client. As our roadmap progresses through, all of the functionality that you have today in Secure Admin and monitoring side is going to be completely rebuilt and available in this web-based client. So as we progress forward, we're not going to continue to have you toggle back and forth. Your main platform, especially as we move towards cloud readiness, is going to be available in this web-based client. So I'm going to pause here. Greg, do we have any questions that have come in?
At this time, we don't have any.
We don't have any? Okay. Well, while I'm waiting for you guys to see if you have any questions, I figured we could go through some of the FAQs. Oops. Okay, so one of the top questions that had come in previously was, how does the licensing for concurrent users work for the web-based client? So the web-based client counts as one concurrent user. So just like you're logging into your monitoring side or your admin, but you can have multiple instances of that web-based client populated for one user. And if I had a couple of these windows open, it's still only going to take up one seat, one concurrent user seat. Okay, and then another one of the questions that I think we kind of addressed it earlier, but having the 32 hardwired readers, does that change how many wireless readers can be included with the iStar Ultra? And no, you can have any combination of hardwired and wireless, but your max is still 32 per iStar Ultra. So that was one of the questions that had come in previously. And I think that is the majority of them. So if we don't have any questions, or you do think of any later, feel free to reach out to me or back through this registration link, and it will get back to me. We'll provide that. We'll update our FAQs document. And other than that, I'm excited for you guys to get into Service Pack 2. Thank you for joining.